Conspiracy.
Dogman, Sasquatch,
Homunculus,
alien races,
Anunnaki,
Corey Feldman,
Ghost Dad. That's cool.
poltergeist, spirit summoning, magicians are demons,
Anunnaki.
Close the door,
Close the door! What is the moon? Cover-ups, MK Ultra, shadow people, disagreements,
Quiet, I'm trying to say words with my mouth.
vampire.
Well, hello. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
I'm Chris.
I'm John.
I'm Jeremy. And I'm Jeremy.
A little rough start.
What's going on, guys?
A lot.
Welcome in, everybody. We haven't seen John in a bit. For people watching now, it's been a couple episodes. So welcome back to John. You've been missed.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Welcome to be here.
Looking forward to Camp Creeply 7.
Yes. Yes, we're back at camp, guys. This is it's getting towards the end of the camping season, so I figured it was a good time to get out in those woods before the snows come up north here. Yeah. How many times have you guys been camping this year? 0.
Whole whopping 0 times.
We do it here in the hole. That's pretty much it.
I feel like every nice day I'm like, man, I wish we were camping.
It's too hot to camp in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a hot summer, dude, even here.
Yeah, but still camping season. We did do some camping, which we'll have probably talked about by now, but we stayed in a cabin down in...
I wouldn't call that camping.
It's much more of a glamping type situation.
It was a nice house, wasn't it?
It was like a Frank Lloyd Wright cabin.
I know, but it was like a big home.
Well, it was small. It was only one bedroom.
Oh, really? It looked big.
It was cool though because, and we'll show pictures on the screen. I guess unless we've showed it last time, but the cool thing about it was this it's called the Roundhouse Cabin.
Roundabout
Cabin. And you walk in, and even though it was just a 1 bedroom, it felt big because of the flow. Like you walk in, there's a kitchen, you walk into the bedroom, there's like no wall or door, and you step down into a big stone shower. And then if you're in the shower and you look up, there's a little window looking down at you, and that's the bathroom, the one bathroom there upstairs. And then there was a locked door that they didn't trust us to go into, that if you went in,
always creepy.
It would take you up a spiral staircase to like a lookout tower that looked kind of down into the woods, and we didn't get to go up there, but
it was kind of spooky just because it was deep in the woods, but second to that, there were windows all around the house, and most of them didn't have any curtains or shutters.
Yeah.
So you're in the woods, you're exposed with light in this circular home where there's just any creature in the forest can watch you while you're in there watching Dick Van Dyke or whatever you're doing.
And you did the Peach Mountain episode recording there, right?
Some of it. We had some major technical problems, but yeah, anyways, Adams County, Ohio, which is, we've had a bunch of stories from there. Great for camping, a lot of camping out there in Amish country. But anyway, yes, that is the theme of today. As John said, Camp Creeply 7, we're back in it.
Yeah.
Back in the woods, and we're going to get into some stories right now.
Interesting variety.
Coming up on this episode, we have red-eyed watchers in the water, alien orbs outside the tent, a spirit-infested summer camp, and slack-jawed freaks in Demon Cave.
And that's just a taste.
Just to mention a few. So it's going to be electric this evening in the woods with us. So glad you're here. All right. Without further ado, if you guys are ready to get into the stories.
Let's do it.
What are we starting with, Chris?
Our first submission today is a classic summer camp vibe kind of story. The camp counselor in his first year at a summer camp in Prescott, Arizona. This comes to us from Lamont Klepper. This happened in 2015, and I call this Voices of Hillside Cabin. In 2015, I was a first-year camp counselor. I had just finished the CIT program, Counselor in Training, and was given my first assignment at the camp. I don't think it's necessary to name the summer camp, but it was located off Senator Highway in Prescott, Arizona. Many of the summer camps in Prescott are located on this highway. Senator Highway is known to be haunted. Drivers report seeing hitchhikers in full mining gear who seemingly vanish once you acknowledge them. There was a counselor at the summer camp I was working at who was involved in a single-car accident on the highway. To this day, he swears he swerved his vehicle around a person in the middle of the highway. This person was never located. The crash was about 3 years before my first assignment as a new camp counselor, and it just added to the number of stories and lore surrounding the camp. During my CIT training, there was one story that all the counselors agreed on. Every counselor insisted that the Hillside cabin was haunted. The camp was opened in the late 1930s. Hillside cabin was the second cabin ever built at the camp. It sits on a small hill above the rest of the cabins. It doesn't look like the rest of the cabins. It's much larger and looks more like a manufactured home. The story goes that a young girl was staying in Hillside in the first year of the camp being opened. She couldn't sleep and ended up wandering outside the cabin. She wandered about 20 feet from Hillside cabin and outside the camp boundary. Unfortunately, this young girl fell into a vertical mine shaft. It's well known that there are hundreds of mines in this area, most undocumented. After this incident, the camp extended its boundary. Today, you can find 5 mines that are sealed off, including the mine that this young girl fell into. When telling the story, counselors share their experiences in Hillside cabin. When the topic is brought up, the tone of conversation becomes a lot more serious. Many counselors report hearing children speaking to someone in the bathroom, only to find they are the only camper there. You could hear a ball bouncing down the hallway. Metal grinding. Faint voices. Laughter. And doors opening on their own in the middle of the night. Understandably, this becomes very concerning when you're the counselor of a dozen young children. You're responsible for their safety and care while they are at camp. The last thing you want is doors opening in the middle of the night and children running around when they are not supposed to. It is for this reason the stories of Hillside cabin hold such truth. Nothing is more alarming than being sure that one of your campers is talking, playing, and opening doors at night, only to find that everyone is still in their beds and you have no idea what you heard or what you saw. My experience is nothing short of this. I too am now plagued with the fear of Hillside cabin. It was my first assignment as a camp counselor. I was hoping for an older cabin so I could go on the longer hikes and participate in paintball. However, I was given Hillside cabin, the youngest group of kids. When I learned I was given Hillside, I wasn't nervous or even thinking about the stories. I was focused on the campers and my job. My co-counselor was a Hillside veteran and was normally assigned to the cabin every week. On my night off, she recommended I go into town with the rest of the counselors or hang around the meeting hall. She didn't go into much detail. She just mentioned there's a reason Hillside keeps the lights on when no one is there. I didn't adhere to her advice. I was tired, and I only wanted to take the night off to sit on my phone, sleep, and relax while the rest of the camp was at the auditorium for skits and songs. I went back to Hillside cabin after dinner. I walked through the first room, past the hallway, and to the back room where my bed was. I sat on the bed and started scrolling social media. I remember it being completely silent, which is unsettling when you're in the forest, alone. So I turned music on from my phone and started snacking on popcorn. After sitting there for a few minutes, I heard chatter from the front entrance. I immediately turned my music off. I yelled to the kids and asked them why they were back at the cabin and not in the auditorium.
Hey guys, why are you back here?
There was no response, so I returned to playing music, thinking I must have heard nearby campers walking by. Not even a minute later, I heard the front door closing, which was weird because it should have been closed already. I walked to the front door and saw it cracked open. I began to walk around the cabin, but I didn't see anyone. At this point, I started to remember the stories told to me by other counselors. Then I started to process what I had heard, formulating a reasonable explanation. Was it nearby campers? A prank? Or my imagination playing tricks on me? After all, I was completely alone in a cabin built in the 1930s in the middle of the forest. The sounds didn't let up as I sat back on my bed. Down the hallway, a rolling noise started. It sounded like a heavy ball rolling across the wooden floor. I froze. I was in the back room, meaning I would have to pass the hallway to the front door. As I stood up, the sound continued. Once I got a foot from the hallway, the sounds abruptly stopped. Against my better judgment, I walked down the hallways, announcing myself.
I'm here.
I checked both bathrooms. I checked the storage rooms, even though both were locked when I got to them. Then, I heard a distinct chatter as I closed the last storage room door. I get goosebumps thinking of this moment, a moment that reinforced everything that was happening. I heard a girl's voice. It said,
We can't go there.
It was clear. I immediately ran outside the front door, off the deck and back to the main path, heading toward the auditorium. I thought of looking back, but my inner voice told me to keep walking, that I didn't need to, nor want to, look back at the cabin. I was never assigned to that cabin again. I think about that experience a lot. I did tell my experience to other counselors. Every time we talked about our experiences, it seemed like a trauma meeting. When the topic started, it was no longer fun campground stories. It was serious, like we all needed a safe place to talk about it. I stopped camp counseling in 2017. From my understanding, the cabin was torn down this year. In March, they started rebuilding more individual cabins on the hill. I don't have a place to talk about this experience a lot anymore, but when I do, I still remember that rolling sound so clearly. And that girl's voice. Even now, it gives me goosebumps. Thanks for listening. Lamont Klepper.
Thank you, Lamont. Yeah. You always have a place here in the hole for this kind of story.
Hillside, it's funny. It's right across the street from our parents' house.
I know. I was thinking that, which is a campground.
Yeah.
Not a summer
Synchronistic.
campground, but a camping campground nonetheless. I spent 6 months there in an RV once. That was interesting.
I remember. So there was a death from a girl at the beginning of the story?
Yeah.
That's the story.
So it was a counselor that he worked with the first year he was there who told him kind of the lore of the campground itself. And in the 30s, in the 1930s, first year that the camp was open, there were shafts, and they didn't know that there was a mining shaft that was exposed on the campground. This girl was like, it wasn't far from her cabin, and she wandered out one night and fell down the shaft and died.
Okay.
Was the story. And since then, I think 5 more shafts had been found over the years as the camp expanded. And they would find more of these abandoned shafts, which aren't uncommon in this area of Arizona when they had a lot of mining going on back in the 1800s.
Right.
So basically that girl is haunting, or that's kind of the thought.
Yes.
I wonder what the rolling ball was, or rolling sound.
Yeah. Kind of like right over the floor, right?
Yeah.
That'd be creepy to hear, just like a long roll. Like,
yeah, there's
nothing
something that is ominous about a rolling sound because it's almost like something imminent is about to happen.
mm-hmm.
You know what
It's
I mean?
going to collide with something at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, John, that the girl ghost you referenced, and then later he hears that girl's voice. It said, "We can't go there." Wonder if it's almost like a protective spirit or echo.
Or maybe she was talking about the mine shaft. Maybe she was trying to give some sort of warning from the past.
Maybe she was with other ghosts and they were trying to come to this reality.
Well, that's
That's
a
an
cool
interesting
idea.
thought. We can't come through. This is their time. Life is for the living, Gina.
She's like, now go get your ball and leave.
That's why you see the ball rolling.
I wonder what kind of rolling sound it was. I'm assuming the floors are wood,
Yeah.
but rolling has a very specific sound, especially if like it's a ball or it's like metal.
I'm guessing it would have been, if it's 1930s, it probably wouldn't have been a plastic and maybe not rubber, maybe with like a wooden
Could have been.
Well,
ball.
you're assuming that's what the sound is coming from.
Well, if it's rolling, it's got to be some sort of like wheel or ball. Or,
I bet you're saying for sure it was something. I'm just trying to think like what exactly. I mean, we're just assuming it was that girl ghost from the 1930s.
That's true. Yeah, it might not have been related to her.
Yeah. Could have been any kind of phenomena.
Feels like there's some missing pieces with that one. A little hard to say for sure what it was, but
yeah.
As a camp
Interesting.
counselor, having to be responsible, like they said, for all those kids and then have like the extra weight of, events that are happening that could endanger the kids would be kind of scary.
Yeah. I guess it's still a thing. So I reached out to him to check about some of the details of the story. He said that he's hoping to have a reunion soon with some of the counselors. And I guess there's still experiences happening at that camp. So it is a live and active haunting location right now.
Reminds me of Wet Hot American Summer Part 2.
Yes, exactly. The plot's the same, really.
Spooky Hot American
Was
Summer.
that when they did that reunion? Didn't they?
Oh, yes.
that's
they
hilarious.
still acted like. Did they still act like they were young?
Yeah. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, Wet Hot American Summer
How
was
could you not?
some people might not have seen it. There was a movie, Wet Hot American Summer, was great, and then they had a TV series
This is the state.
where like these guys reprised their
Please
roles.
play the Paul Rudd clip where he throws the.
Oh yeah, we
fork
played
at
that in the show kind of recently, I think.
Do it now.
But we'll play it now.
You gonna clean that up?
Oh, yeah. I will. I don't have time right now.
Anyway, so that was from the movie, and they made a series, but the series was years later that they did the
Prequel.
Oh, is it a prequel?
Oh, that's right.
I
Yeah.
don't remember.
So they're even older but playing younger versions of themselves.
I'll explain it quickly
Yeah,
here.
condensedly.
So the state was a sketch group. They made this hilarious movie, early 2000s, I think. Then years later, they do like a 10-year reunion series on Netflix, but they're older now, obviously in reality. But it's hilarious because it's a prequel. So they're even older playing even younger versions of
So
themselves.
They're,
They're
like in
playing the
their
campers.
40s and 50s, and they're playing like 15 and
preteens.
16 year old. They're
Yeah,
preteens.
yeah. And then they did one more season where then it's like then it's an actual reunion or something, but that had a weird timeline thing. Anyway, it's a great show. A lot of ghosts, a lot of ghosts and monsters in it.
Yeah, a lot of ghosts.
There is a talking can. So that's
That's
kind of
true.
a ghost.
That's true.
It's a good movie.
That was John Benjamin who played the talking can.
Yeah.
It's funny stuff, but
We got more stories to tell.
Yes.
That's
more
right.
stories to tell.
thank you,
More
Lamont,
stories to tell.
Thank you,
for
Lamont.
starting this off with a true and blue camp counselor.
Yeah.
A story.
I'm hungering for an actual summer camp one. So thank you for that.
Yeah. What's next, Chris?
All right. This next one is out of this world. Sorry. I'm very sorry. This next one is a really cool account, though. This comes to us from Miranda. And this experience happened to her one late night when an uninvited camper from some otherwhere joins Miranda and her friend in Clearwater County, Idaho. This is called Alien Orb Beyond the Tent.
Hey guys, I wanted to share one of my many of what I feel to be extraterrestrial encounters while out camping in the woods of Idaho. I was born and raised in northern Idaho, in Coeur d'Alene. I come from a very active outdoorsy family. We camped, fished, and hunted as often as we could. Growing up, our main stomping grounds were all around Clearwater County, Idaho, in the gorgeous, desolate mountains, which is where this encounter takes place. Go back to the summer of 2005. I was 15 and amped up about starting my freshman year in high school. This camping trip consisted of my mom, my younger brother, myself, and one of my good friends. To set the scene, from the main road, we crossed a bridge over the Clearwater River and drove down into a large open field butted up against the mountain, and the rest was surrounded by the river. We set up the two tents and started enjoying the great outdoors. It was probably a couple days into our trip, and we were getting ready to head to our tent for the night. My friend and I stayed up a little later than my mom and younger brother so we could enjoy the campfire a little longer. I put it out, and we climbed into our tent. As we're whispering and giggling, being teenage girls, I noticed a weird light. When I sat up, it got brighter, and it was green. I thought maybe it was someone with a flashlight or headlamp with some kind of color-tinted lens. So I got up and unzipped the window facing the same direction. As I did this, my friend gasped. I got my shoes on, unzipped the tent, and went outside. It definitely wasn't a person. It was a floating green ball of light at about head's height around 100 yards away. I looked back at my friend, and she was ghost white and frozen in place. Surprisingly, it was a bright night. The moon had the whole area lit up, so you could see without a flashlight. I slowly walked closer and then stopped dead in my tracks when I could no longer hear my footsteps on the dirt and gravel ground. I couldn't hear the crickets or the owls. No sounds from the river. Not even the wind through the trees. Absolutely dead silence. After briefly looking around at my surroundings in disbelief, I noticed the green light was kind of pulsating. It'd get bright, then it'd get dim. Get bright, then dim. After watching it and almost being entranced, all of a sudden I snapped out of it, and I felt the hair on the back of my neck stand up. And felt as if besides who I was camping with, that I wasn't alone. I slowly started backing away towards my tent, and almost in a matter of seconds, it shot up towards the treetops, stopped, and disappeared within a blink. I stood there completely dazed. I had no idea what I just saw or what I had just experienced. My friend grabbed my arm, which snapped me back. The first things I noticed was that I could hear all the surrounding outdoor ambience again. I could feel and hear the wind. I could hear the crickets and the river, all of it. As I got back into the tent with my friend, I started talking to her about what we had just seen. According to her, it all happened in a matter of a few minutes, but for me, it felt longer. After that, she never went camping with me again. But every time I go out there, even to this day, I wonder if I'll ever experience it again. I'm 33 now, married. We have a 3.5-year-old little girl and twins on the way, and we have a camping trip planned this summer to go down there. Like I said, the thought still lingers, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Thanks for reading, and I hope it makes it on the show. Love all you guys do. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that.
You made it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miranda.
It reminds me, remember those, what are those lights called?
The ghost lights?
Are they called ghost lights? The ones that are in like the forest?
Yeah, there's a few different names for them. Yeah, like
Okay.
the Marfa lights kind of thing.
Marfa.
The Marfa lights is specifically in Marfa, Texas. But yeah, that kind of thing. Will-o'-the-wisp, glowing orb type phenomenon.
That's what it reminds me of. Do you know if any
Yeah.
of those people that have those accounts experience any of the...
The sensations here, like the Oz effect, like the silence of things.
Yeah, like it
Yeah.
almost seems like it's, it shuts off all your senses.
Yeah, if you're close
or
enough to it.
creates like a time warp or something.
Yeah, we did. If you guys remember that military paranormal encounters episode,
Oh, yeah.
I think we did this one. It's hard. Sometimes I forget which ones we did and which ones we've prepared, but then had to delay for a future episode. Sometimes we have too many stories. But remember the guy where he was saved by foxfire?
Yeah.
He called it. Where it led him led him back to camp.
Right.
That's the same kind of phenomena, but right? Or pretty similar as these ghosts.
I think that might have even been green.
Yeah, it was green.
It was like luring him, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of like beckoning him like this way. Or
Right.
that's what he thought.
That's what he felt.
Yeah.
I feel like even with this one, it felt kind of like it was luring.
Mm-hmm. Well, the pulsing, that like, whoom, whoom, like that
Mhm.
feels like communication to me, or it's busy doing something while it's there. You know what I
It's
mean?
Pulling you into another dimension.
Maybe. That's interesting you bring that up, John, because there's the time discrepancy thing and the silence thing. It reminds me of the Oz effect that we've covered. Jenny Randles talks about. And then when we covered 40 in fogs with the people that would go into these fogs and disappear, or their cars would be lifted up and time would dilate. It was that same sense of things getting silent, quiet, things that even the sound of her footsteps ceased to be audible.
That would be very unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Thank you for that, Miranda.
Well, I'm glad you're still around and you can enjoy
Yeah.
the show.
And if you and your family go back down there,
you can enjoy
know,
the show.
I'm glad you're still here to like and subscribe and leave a comment if you're listening.
There you go.
No, but thank you for that. And yeah, let us know if you go back down there. You said you might be going this year. Wait, was that from this year she sent this, Chris?
Probably not.
Last year? Okay. You've probably been back several times since we finally got to your story, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you've gone, let us know.
Cool story, though. Definitely
Yeah.
would be pretty wild to see the pulsating part. Definitely not, some sort of human connected
Right.
light.
And for anyone thinking drone, this is 2005. This is pre any commercial drones for sure. And any drones that we know of publicly. And there was no sound. So there's another reason why it wouldn't be a drone. But that shoot up reminds me of classic UFO encounters. Even that, remember that one that's like, it's kind of debated, but a lot of people think it's legit, multiple angles over the dome of the rock.
Oh.
Shoots up.
This is actually very similar to the Peach Mountain stories.
I was wondering if you're going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple of stories actually.
It even shoots up at the end, like insanely fast.
Silent glowing ball orbs of
They were
light.
orange, though, weren't they?
These were orange, yeah, over the Serpent Mound. And then shooting up.
Man, what a cool place.
Yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, same kind of thing. Is it a similar phenomenon? You see these a lot in the wilderness.
What are they?
People recount these things. I told you guys I saw one. Remember that at Silver Creek?
Oh, yeah. I heard about that.
I mean, whether or not I can't say for sure it was, but
Was it green?
it looked like a floating flame in the woods. And I only saw it for...
I don't believe you.
I know you don't believe... I think you believe that I saw what I think I saw, but you don't believe that it was actually a ghost light because your brother can't see
I don't know. I'm just joking. I just wanted to say the Will Ferrell quote. I don't believe
Oh,
you.
but I get that now. Now I can hear it.
I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
That was pretty good.
Anyway, it was, I wasn't out in the elements with it. I was Silver Creek in Wadsworth, Ohio. You can just drive kind of through different parts of the park.
Dogman country.
And I saw it in the woods in an area that was where there was no trail, but it was like this floating, and it didn't look like a flashlight. It looked like a floating ball of fire.
You still go out there sometimes at night and try to drive by.
Yeah, occasionally I'll drive by and see if it'll
Look for
come
your
back.
friend, your fiery friend.
I'm not saying that's what it was, but it definitely was a candidate. But some, explain this away as like a natural phenomena, swamp gas kind of thing.
Yeah.
But still, no real explanation.
Well,
but
thank you for that, Miranda.
Thank you, Miranda.
All right.
Happy camping.
Moving on down the camping trail. All right, this next account, really interesting account, a little emotional.
This one's a little sad.
Yeah, but definitely fascinating and a bit of a warning. It harkens to things we've heard about before with Men in Black encounters. And this could really have been in a Strange Listener Stories episode, but there was a camping element, so we thought we would tuck it in here because we wanted to do it for a while. This happened in West Texas in the mid-1990s. This comes to us from Sharon Barnhill, and this is called The Astronomer's Daughter.
Anyone can take a picture of a UFO, but how many have taken a picture of a UFO through a telescope? Well, my dad did. Here's his story. William Edward Ridenauer was an amateur astronomer. Growing up, he had an observatory in the backyard. It's not as cool as it sounds. We 3 kids wanted a swimming pool. Anyway, my father had the big telescope in the observatory and then other ones he traveled with. In the mid-90s, he and Mom were camping in West Texas, trying to photograph what's called Barnard's Loop. It's a red gas cloud around Orion. To do this, it takes a 12 to 15 minute time lapse. That's the reason the stars are making a trail in the attached photo. He didn't get Barnard's Loop, but he got something more interesting. Please see the attached picture. At the bottom and to the left in the picture, a strange thing flew by. What he said about the photo was, it was something in the outer atmosphere, blinking and making turns. Nothing we have can do that. He had been in the Air Force and had worked at Johnson Space Center in Houston, so he knew his crafts. He showed it to a friend of his at NASA. Next thing we know, he is approached by 3 government men. Maybe MIB, not sure. They were demanding all the pictures and the negative. It was the mid-1990s, so he used film, which unlike the digital images of today, has a negative, which we still have. They talked for 45 minutes in the Mainland Center hospital parking lot. They told him if he changed his mind to call them. He showed me a 1-800 number. Then he put it back in his wallet in the section he kept his family photos. Shortly after that, even though he was a long-distance runner and in excellent health, he had what's called sudden cardiac death. As luck would have it, I was the ICU charge nurse that day and head of the code team. We couldn't get him back. Dad died August 10th, 1998. As I was going through his belongings, I noticed that phone number wasn't in his wallet. To play it safe, I raced to my parents' house and went to the observatory, grabbed the picture and negatives, and placed them in the safe. A few years ago, I asked MUFON to analyze the photo and give an opinion. Mark D'Antonio, their top photo analyst at the time, said he would put it in the top 1% of the truly unknown. If you have any questions, we will be happy to answer them. Mother was there when he took the picture. She's 85 years old, but very alert. If you wish to see the negative, we will make it available to you. Enjoy your show. Big fan. Sharon, Barnhill.
Well, thank you for that, Sharon.
Yeah, thanks, Sharon.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of Men in Black cases, especially the first season. And I mean, this definitely falls in line with that. What a sad way to experience something like this.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. It's just like, back then, it was so, like, they actually could keep kind of tabs on this stuff. But now it's like, think about all the cameras and infinite amount of sightings that people have. There's just
social media, you could just publish it. People know already that you've got something. Yeah. Back then, you just shut people up.
And it's like you have all the video editing software, so they have plausible deniability.
Right.
If there is something really crazy that's caught. But there must still be some things that happen where these people probably show up and they're like, hey,
for sure.
Like if you have a femur of an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, there's a difference with not necessarily Men in Black, but government agents of some kind or some kind of clandestine group that's showing up to threaten. I just found a couple pieces of really interesting corroborative interviews from the 80s that I'd like to cover sometime. This specifically was regarding Roswell.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a girl talking about how she had been threatened by these military men who came and basically said, like, she was all excited because she got to hold this material because her dad somehow worked on the base and got a hold of it. And they told her, you didn't see what you saw, that typical thing. And she said, no, I saw it. I really saw it. And he was like, well, the thing is, it's a big desert out there and they won't find your body.
Yeah.
And like when she was recounting the story, she's like in her 50s or something and she's crying because this happened to her when she was like 8 or 10 or something. And it stuck with her. And then I came across the coroner who had a similar threat, coroner who allegedly handled the bodies that crashed Roswell, whatever they were,
Mm-hmm.
And same thing. He was obviously much older, very serious guy. And he said, this is the exact same kind of threat. He said, we're picking your bones out of the desert. So these didn't necessarily sound like alienish Men in Black. We hear about like the uncanny skin and stuff, but whatever agents, might be visiting, there's definitely was a threat.
Yeah. It is sad that I'm sorry about your father passing away so quickly after.
Yeah.
But definitely, I'm sure kind of probably haunts you a little bit as far as like, was there anyone else involved in that or was it natural?
Yeah.
Right. That unknown.
It does remind me of that classic story we covered, the Men in Black account where the researcher was threatened and remember the strange figure came up to him somewhere out in the woods. I don't know if he was jogging too or something, but he came up and he had like a coin in his hand and he's like basically threatening him.
Oh yeah.
Like, we can do things to your heart.
Yeah.
And he held out his hand. There was a
directed energy weapons.
The coin just like shriveled up in his hand somehow. And it was the threat about his heart. So there's a weird connection there.
Yeah.
With that account. The picture we should talk about briefly before we go to the next story, but the picture's up on the screen, guys.
So these are all stars at long exposure, right? You see that?
Right. That's why they look like light bar lights because they're stars at a longer exposure.
Little lightsabers.
Yes, little lightsabers. And down on the bottom left here is a pretty crazy flight pattern of something that is blinking.
Over
you
time.
can see it's a segmented line. So I'm not sure what the length of exposure was, but that is obviously something that isn't moving mechanically in the way that we have things that move mechanically. And what year was this again? She's in her 60s
90s?
now, right? So
She said it was in the 90s?
98.
98, that's right.
And if it was a satellite, so yeah, just to be clear,
satellites don't move like that.
Right, that is not the pattern of a satellite, it's just orbit,
Right.
Sometimes geosynchronously.
Right.
So what could that be?
There's like a hard pivot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and zigzag, or like a S, and then like almost like a right angle at the end there.
Yeah, really fascinating picture.
Yeah, in space from a telescope, that would be some kind of consciously operated thing or entity that's making those deliberate choices to move that way. We didn't have any ships doing that.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the UFO that I saw, as far as just the very erratic nature of its movement path.
Yeah.
You said it was like a mosquito, right?
Yeah. Yeah, very much like, very erratic how mosquitoes move.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a really cool piece of evidence.
Oh, she has the negative if you want to see it.
The original.
Does that just prove that it's a real picture, basically?
Yeah, that, and also we could get like a high resolution version of it that we could produce from the negative.
Also, there's no Photoshop going on or anything.
Right.
Oh my God! Ah!
What? Are you okay?
That is a giant spider that just came from my ceiling. Oh, what? Sorry, Camp Creeply Wilderness is coming to me.
How perfect.
I don't think you're going to be surviving out in the West
Hiding
Texas
under my
desert.
poster.
I mean, how big is he really?
I mean, he's not the biggest spider I've ever seen, but he's the thick legger. You know?
The thick legger.
Yeah, like
That
the
house
meaty
has
wolf.
so many
That's a wolf
spiders
spider.
on it.
I know.
So many spiders.
Yeah.
In the fall, there's like 1,000 spiders on the outside. They're all those, what are those
Pumpkin
called?
spiders, orb spiders.
Pumpkin spiders. They're huge.
Yeah.
But they're not dangerous.
No.
Yeah.
They're
I
There aren't
remember
many dangerous
walking out
spiders
one
around here.
night when I first started noticing them, and I like walked around the house at night, and it reminded me of arachnophobia. I was like, this
Oh, yeah.
house is entombed
Covered.
in spiders.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
all like terrifying looking,
Mhm.
but
they are. Yeah.
very not dangerous.
This
They're
one
sweet.
is not a giant pumpkin spider, but it is a thick-legged
Wolf spider.
He's just
Those
sitting on my
bite.
desk, hiding underneath my poster that I've laying here.
Well, I'm in the basement where they're the
You
largest.
see his little juicy legs sticking out.
I've been waking up with bugs on me at night.
Oh, you mentioned that. Yeah, that's not gotten any
I had
better.
another one bite my neck. I don't even know what it was. I didn't want to know. I just felt it and I smacked it and crushed it and I didn't even look. I was like, I don't want to know what's in this bed. But
Yeah.
they're everywhere. I can't
Yeah.
stop them.
No, it's kind of like you're
How
camping.
are they getting in your place?
I mean, I'm in the woods and there's just the seals on this house. It's like almost like a cabin.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a lot of openings.
Every day is Camp Creeply for John.
Yeah. I'm getting bit by mosquitoes while I'm working.
Yeah.
It's a true Camp Creeply cabin.
That's right. Yes, you're living it.
It's a bummer you have the negatives of a cabin, but not the positives. Like you have a highway, like how far from your house? Construction,
100 yards maybe.
but the fun of all the bugs.
Yeah, I mean it's a decent place, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the insects for sure. But it's good for this episode. I feel right
Yeah.
at home.
For sure.
That's right.
Well, thank you for that story.
Yeah, Sharon, thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
I feel like that's a good,
Yeah.
weird segue, getting scared by a spider from my ceiling.
I wish you
Um,
could film it.
I know, he's hiding right here.
Why don't you get your phone out at the end and take
Okay.
a picture of it?
I'm sure it's not going to be that.
take a little
scary.
video as I lift it up.
It's just going to be a little guy, right?
It's a wolf spider guy.
Yeah, but
Okay, that's unsettling. I don't know where he went.
Wolf spider, you'll get caught up in the wolf spider.
wolf spider.
All right, back
That was the
on
wrong pitch. Wrong key.
back on that cabin walkway path.
All right. Okay.
Back into the deep dark of Camp Creeply.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I should mention we'll have pictures in the show notes for you guys listening on audio.
Of the spider?
Well, more importantly, the anomalous telescope photograph.
Let's get our priorities right here, Jeremy.
We need the spider.
All right, this next account we're going to do, there are elements in here that are classic Sasquatchian elements, but there's something else in here that is very, very interesting. This is a short little guy. This happened to Allison's dad in Knoxville, Tennessee in 1985. This is called Red Eyes on the Water, Bigfoot in the Wood.
This isn't my story, but it happened to my dad when he was 10 or 11. I believe it was the summer of 1984. He was night fishing with his brother and sister, as well as some friends, at IC King Park in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is a park located right off the Tennessee River, surrounded by dense forest. My dad said things were going good until he noticed two red glowing objects in the water, staying at a fixed distance apart, floating closer and closer. He tried to rationalize it as glow-in-the-dark fishing bobbers. Then, all of a sudden, they all heard branches snapping at a distance in the woods. The branches snapping turned into loud sounds of trees falling in the woods. It kept happening over and over, and the noise was getting closer and closer to them. They all ran as fast as they could back to the car. And his sister refuses to even acknowledge that it happened to this day. My dad has told me this story countless times growing up. Listening to your podcast, specifically the Camp Creeply episodes, and hearing more about Bigfoot encounters, I believe this was a genuine Bigfoot encounter. By the way, if you guys don't know, there was a really cool Bigfoot museum located in Blue Ridge, Georgia. I've been a couple of times. Thanks for all you guys do. I love your podcast. Much love from Tennessee.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Interesting little detail there with the eyes, maybe eyes under the water, that red eye shine coming from under the water.
Mm-hmm.
Be unsettling.
Yeah.
Oh, that was under the water?
No thanks.
I thought that was
Yeah.
just above the water.
No.
The red eyes.
Within the waves or the current.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So what was
Must
that?
go faster.
Let's go faster. Yeah, and that's the thing about bright eye shine. Bigfoot eye shine reported a lot as red eyed. A lot of these weird.
So is Bigfoot swimming? Is that the idea?
I don't know. It's an aquatic approach. It's trying something new. They're learning.
Could it be a different creature? Could it just be some portal open? Just all these things are
Bigfoot
coming
with
out?
a snorkel.
Snorkelfoot.
Maybe they can breathe underwater. We don't have a lot of aquatic Bigfoot accounts.
I think, but okay, did we have one?
Does Bigfoot have gills?
Maybe.
Why not?
Under all that fur. Didn't we have, we have there's a swamp ape. I'm sure he spends a good amount of time underwater.
Yeah, but you're stomping around. You're not really swimming.
When we did that Alaskan episode, we had, the town that was abandoned. Was there reports of big feet in the water?
In Portland?
Because I put them in the ambience I made for the episode. I made the Bigfoots coming up and out of the water with their little heads poking out. I just didn't remember if that was an actual story.
Maybe.
Because that'd be corroborative if it was. We have to look into that.
Yeah.
Definitely weird. The red hue, about the size of a Bigfoot head would be, it sounds like, eyes apart.
Yeah, I'm a proponent of Bigfoot swimming. I think that would be cool.
And of course, you get the classic tree felling from
Yeah.
Yeah.
the forest behind it.
She said they were big trees, right?
It sounded like large trees. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of the Aaron Duncan story.
That's what I thought of too.
Mhm.
We had years ago, we had a listener story where
That was a pretty creepy story.
stuck in, I think it was his brother Jay, and he was stuck all night in his car because of the sounds coming from it sounded like there were either many large things in the woods right by his home that were
It was
shaking the forest, the tree line.
Yeah, the whole, and didn't something black out the
light.
light that was
That's
like
right.
really high up off the ground?
10 or 12 feet high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider that could have been a Bigfoot, but
Yeah, I think at the time we were thinking maybe some giant invisible
yeah,
entity.
right.
We were doing Glimmerman at the time, and reminds me of Steve
Oh,
Stockton's story
Glimmerman
too.
too,
yeah.
Oh, and Steve Stockton's story, that invisible, do you remember that? The invisible sort of thing that was by the creek. He thought it might have been a dryad or some sort of nature spirit. But again,
Yeah.
unseen, moving things in the forest and near water, this story as well. So who
Huh.
knows, but very strange. And
Yeah.
Definitely hearing trees falling in the woods like that would be extremely unsettling.
especially if you see two red demonic eyes in the water beneath you.
That's aggressive.
Yes.
Highly aggressive.
Tennessee. Yeah. That place is haunted with these
Tennessee
encounters.
is a beautiful state.
Yeah, I wanted to say that we have so many Bigfoot accounts. I was looking for camping stories, and we have, again, many that we are not going to get to today, but a surprising number of Bigfoot accounts
Yeah.
related to camping. We could just do a Bigfoot is in the woods episode, which not a very novel concept, but
How about Bigfoot is in the water?
Yeah.
Oh.
Aquatic Bigfoot. Yeah.
That would be so crazy to see a Bigfoot
how
swimming
terrifying!
underwater.
He just you could just see he gets close enough that the face is right below, and you see him smiling at you.
Like
Just
a clear river in Colorado or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like deep, and you look down, and it's just this monster
Doing
swimming,
the breaststroke.
just like enjoying his day.
like a 12-foot tall. That would be so insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda
Longer
cool,
than
though.
your canoe. You see hands coming, like
Oh my gosh,
clawed
dude.
hands.
Someone make that into a movie.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Upper talons of his fingers around the rim
He's
of
just
the canoe.
really good at the breaststroke underwater.
Well, he has his gills. He doesn't need that. What was I going to say? Keep going. You're jumping my memory. Bounce it.
Bounce
Crap,
it.
what was I going to say?
Bounce it. Bounce it. Swim it.
Just keep it going. Is this the breaststroke?
That's the breaststroke.
Beautifully done.
Or a missionary, whichever you prefer.
That's
That's when I stroke my breasts
Okay.
during missionary.
Okay.
Chris, I almost clipped your tween part.
I was kind of hoping you
no,
would.
I did, didn't I? Yeah, it is kind of in there.
It's kind of in there. The first one at the beginning, though, is so funny.
Yeah.
You're not a predator.
No.
We're making some YouTube shorts, so hopefully you guys click on those and help us grow. So if you see on YouTube, if you're on YouTube and you see the shorts starting to come out, hopefully you guys like them.
Give them a click-a-do.
And just click them if
Trying to grow and get that algorithm pumped
juice in the algo.
with little clips. And if you guys see any clips that you like, clip for yourself. Clip us all you want.
Yeah, feel free to spread the hole.
Share it out there. Spread that hole.
What's next?
I had a good, funny transition there. I can't remember what I was going to say.
I'm on a bouncing ball. If anyone's wondering, because I was bouncing before and they're probably like, how is he doing that?
It's a real mystery.
I was going to say, that's right, John, I'm not a predator. But you know what is a real predator?
Bigfoot?
Whatever is inside Demon Cave.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good segue into that.
Yeah, why don't you set this up, Jeremy?
Yeah, this story is going to be one of the stories where you're like, okay,
Fact or fiction, you decide.
if what he saw is real, if what he's claiming he saw is real, it is something that goes to the very edge of the fringe of suspend your disbelief kind of situation. So you guys be the judge. This took place in Locust Grove, Oklahoma around 2015. And we're calling this story Stalked by the Thing from the Cave.
Okay.
Super creative title.
I know, mine was better.
What
Sure
was yours,
didn't like
Chris?
it.
Didn't I? Wasn't it like Cave Thing Does Walk outside?
Slack-jawed freak in Demon Cave. That sounds way cooler.
No, you first thing said like it came from the demon cave or something.
Not it came from.
And I was like, we don't know if it's a demon cave. I wouldn't say that. Well, let's just play it.
Yeah.
People can decide. You name the story.
Punch it.
So when I was 13, my uncle was 16, and we got left home alone together ever since I was about 8 or 9 due to financial situations with my family and everyone having to work. About 8 people lived in this small 2-bed, 1-bath house that was about the size of a small apartment. We didn't have money in the slightest, so we didn't have power or water most weeks. And we had an old furnace that would heat the house. We lived out in the country, so me and my uncle would go fishing and hunting most days to pitch in with food. One day, we went out into the woods by our house to go hunting. It was too cold to go fishing. I remember it had just snowed about a week before this. It was a perfectly early morning, barely any light. We were bundled up in camo and carrying 2 .22 rifles. We knew there was no way to carry out a deer at our age, so we went rabbit and squirrel hunting. We found a few tracks about an hour or 2 into our hunt. We followed them to a small cave, about a 3-foot-high opening, so we headed inside. We didn't have any light at the time, so we just waited for our eyes to adjust. As we kind of waddled down, we heard a crunching noise, kind of like twigs snapping. We thought maybe the rabbit was nesting up or something, so we kept going deeper. As we did, the cave got narrower. Now we'd made it pretty deep when we heard a small growl, and we could kind of make out a shape in the distance, way too large for a rabbit. We stopped to listen and tried to see what was going on, and we realized we must have wandered into some predator's den, maybe a mountain lion, small black bear, or even a coyote. We started slowly backing up, and as we did, we heard it stepping toward us, the growl getting louder and louder. We started booking it out of there as fast as we possibly could, falling onto our hands and knees, just crawling as fast as possible. As we saw the cave exit, a little light was coming in. I looked back and saw this twisted face, like a person, but completely flat. I couldn't make out any real features, just a large mouth and really pale skin. We bolted out of the cave, stood up, and ran out of the woods at full speed. When we looked back as we were leaving to try and see what the hell it was, these long arms came out of the cave opening with massive hands. Then it flinched back for some reason. As it did, we heard a massive scream. Even as we were running, deafened us and made me feel like my brain was shaking. We made it back home and didn't go outside for the rest of the day. We just sat there in the corner, watching the front door until someone got home. Then we finally relaxed. We thought that was it, and we swore to never go back into those woods in that direction again. But that night, we heard something stalking around outside on the roof and scraping up against the walls. I've tried to talk to my uncle about this a few times since then, and every time I do, he just gets this blank stare, chokes up, and says he doesn't want to talk about it. Creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, terrifying.
Stay out of Locust Grove.
What did he mean by like a flat face? Like it was flat?
Yeah, I'm guessing no nose. Facial features
He
maybe.
said twisted though. Twisted and flat.
Oh yeah, he did say it looked like a human-ish face, but
Yeah.
twisted. Yeah.
I would think mangled or something, just like not proportionally correct.
He didn't mention eyes, right?
It was sloth.
Mo-
What's sloth? Coleslaw.
Mooslaw? What?
Sloth from Goonies?
That's what I thought. That's what I think of when I think of a twisted face.
His face was definitely had a twist
Oh,
to
yeah.
it.
Just mangled.
Yeah, I mean, the story definitely is one of the more out there stories when it comes to like seeing something physically terrifying in a place out in the forest that we've covered.
Right.
But this area, West Appalachia, there's tons of cave systems out there, and we've talked about the possibility of there being sort of subterranean
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
roaming the forest.
Yeah. Maybe like that U-turn movie.
We almost watched that the other day, John. I was like, oh, this is the movie John keeps bringing up.
Isn't it Wrong Turn?
Wrong turn.
And
Yeah.
it was from like 2021 or something.
No, not the original one that I saw that actually was kind of creepy. Was probably from like 2000. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe even the 90s.
I know what you're talking about.
I think it was from the 90s because I remember seeing it with like Chad.
really?
Yeah.
It was basically like this group of inbred, mongoloid creatures that,
To put it delicately.
and they would, hunt people basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Hills Have Eyes kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it was along the lines of Texas Chainsaw Massacre type
Mm-hmm.
vibe.
Yeah.
But it was kind of creepy. But they've made like 20 since then.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I think this might have been sort of a
A reboot?
reimagining. Yeah.
But regardless, yeah, I mean that's kind of what is it some like hermit that
Oh,
you
right.
know,
Well, maybe. I mean, that would require probably a lot of inbreeding for, how do you describe it? Was like massive hands and super long arms coming out of the cave.
Well, it's weird
Oh,
that it lives in a cave. It does remind me of some sort of creature that
Yeah.
It sounds more like a subterranean creature, which I have heard some pretty compelling accounts of this kind of thing. I mean, when I first read this, I was like, this has the creepy pasta flavor to it. Stories like the rake.
I was saying
Things
maybe
like
it's a
that.
rake.
Crawler.
It does kind of sound like a rake a little bit.
Yeah.
The white skin and the long body,
Right.
hands.
And yeah, whenever you hear those kind of like disproportionate, uncanny valley type descriptions, my mind kind of goes towards,
Yeah.
fiction. But
Although
you
there's
guys be the
interesting,
judge.
there's interesting aspects to the story that like either he thought out well that were subtle but
Mhm.
interesting, or could point to this being a valid case. It's interesting when the thing comes out and then retracts. He doesn't go in. He doesn't
Like the
theorize
light, maybe.
why, maybe, but it could be something like there's a photosensitivity element to this thing where that would explain the pale skin if it is
It's a
living in
vampire.
caves.
Yeah.
Or to some underground, as you said, mongoloid creature that's just like can't be out. The only thing that's weird about that though is if it comes out later, maybe because it's darker out,
It's nighttime.
it can go out later. Oh yeah, I guess that would make
Yeah.
sense.
Safe to go out at night.
But you've heard of this stuff like Moon-Eyed People.
Yeah.
There's like things called cave devils in Appalachia, which kind of
Mhm.
sounds like this. But definitely a terrifying story. Definitely another reason to take a friend when you go out walking around.
I don't think that 22 is going to do a whole lot to this thing.
That's true. But if you're with a friend, you can trip them and you can run faster, and then you might survive.
Trip your friend.
That's not very nice.
I guess you wouldn't really be friends then.
Chris the coward.
I'm courageous. I'm enough to live with the guilt.
Courageous Chris.
Sacrificing my friend
Brave enough to live with the
for
guilt.
the Chris or good.
I'm willing to live with the guilt.
I wouldn't really do that. At least I hope I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
It's better than Jeremy
you.
pushing it. Or what did you do with your girlfriend? Did you push her?
Oh,
High school girlfriend?
I was just a kid. I was
That was
startled
just
in the
a
moment.
natural
I
reflex.
know, but it's still funny. What did you
I
do?
didn't push her in front of me. I subtly moved her in between me and the person running up the road.
Used her as a human shield.
Yeah. It was just for a
That's
moment.
really funny.
If something would have gone down, I would have been like, never mind, and then got attacked back. But
That's like out of a movie,
It really is.
like a coming of age film.
Yeah.
yeah, that's one of those cringe moments that you have in the shower from time to time.
What's going on for expansion?
Yeah.
So the members only episode.
We've got some great stories. It's going to be a fascinating episode full of mystery and wonder. Now here is a clip from this expansion episode. And then we'll get back to our remaining stories of the evening.
I came across some interesting videos the other day while doing some research for another episode. It was some raw testimony. And I thought it would be kind of fun to do an episode where we dig up some lesser known, lesser heard testimony from people in their own words. So kind of an anomalous, what'd you call it, Chris? Anomalous archive?
Anomalous archive. Eyewitness testimony to the extraordinary.
Raw paranormal testimony in their own words. We're going to be hearing excerpts from a few stories you might be familiar with and some you might not. Voices in their own words.
Yeah.
That brings us to our next witness here. Roswell mortician W. Glenn Dennis, alleged first-hand witness to events at Roswell Army Air Force Hospital. He was the director of the Ballard Funeral Home in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. He gets a call and is told that an airman is injured, so he's needed for some medical assistance. So he's simply doing his job when he comes across this.
Yeah, I was curious, but I didn't go out to the base and probably a couple hours later. Then I'd got an emergency call. There was an airman that was injured in an accident. And I took the airman to the base. He rode in the ambulance with me, and I took him out to the emergency room. And that's the way I became really involved out the base. I didn't go out just because I was curious. I got the call, I left the funeral home and the ambulance went to the scene of the accident, picked the airman up. I did not place him on a stretcher because he had a head injury in the nose. I think his nose was fractured. So I did some minor first aid, and then he sat in the front seat with me all the way to the base. When we got to the base, then he walked into the emergency room. They didn't bring out a gurney or anything. He just walked in on his own. Then I never did see him after that. Then I had this friend that I wanted to talk to and see, this lieutenant nurse that I knew quite well. This was her first assignment to the air base, and I wanted to talk to her, and so I was going down the hall, and the lieutenant that I wanted to see was coming out of one room, going across the hall to the other, and she noticed it was me. She said, "How did you get in here, and what are you doing in here?" And she said, "You better get out in a hurry." She said, "You're going to get in a lot of trouble." She said, "Would you please leave and get out of here in a hurry?" And she went on into the other room. Then in about the time I turned around, there was another officer said, "Hey, wait a minute." And I said, "Looks like you had a crash." He said, "I see there's some, in the ambulances out there, I see a lot of wrecking." I said, "Where was the crash?" And he said, "There wasn't any crash." Then he said, "Just wait a minute." And then he said, "Wait a minute." And I, stood there for a minute. And he turned around, and evidently he must have waited for somebody else to come out because there was another officer coming out. He said, "This man says there was a crash out at the base." He said he wanted to know he was inquiring about our crash. And this was when I encountered, he was a red-headed officer. Very nasty, very rough. He said, "You did not see any crash. There was not any crash." And he said, "You get the hell out of here, and you didn't see anything, and you don't talk to anybody." He said, "You're going to get in a hell of a lot of trouble." And I said, "Look, I'm a civilian. There ain't a damn thing you can do to me about it." He said, "No, but somebody might be picking your bones out of the sand." That's when he made the remark there.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
So there's that familiar
Yep.
threat.
Done with all our episodes?
Yes.
The hole goes deeper. Over 100 ad-free expansion episodes, plus all 30 episodes from our raw and untethered first season.
I would argue some stuff. I see him talk right now. Count how many times I was interrupted. I would argue that you said I have to talk over. Exactly.
Go to beliefhole.com and hit the big red expansion button. If you love the hole, you can never get enough.
All right, this next one is really interesting, very strange. Not technically a camping story, but it is in the woods, and I thought it was an interesting one to discuss, so I wanted to bring it. Actually, Jeremy initially brought it.
Yeah, this takes place in Mexico, and this is a bizarre, unique account. John, you'll relate. It's about dog walking and what can go down on the trail. This is called I Am the Queen of the Woods.
I was taking my dogs for a walk on a gorgeous trail behind my house, like I had 100 times before. We usually went around sunrise and sunset, but for whatever reason, we decided to go a little earlier this day. It's a typical day to party in Mexico, as most people work Monday to Saturday. It started off normally with my dog Sasha, a mini dachshund, Sanji, an American dingo, and Sally, a French smallback mix I was dog sitting. We followed the arroyo around the beautiful cactus-sprawled landscape. I loved walking back there. It felt like my own little desert escape. We shortly came upon two guys in a white pickup truck who I'd seen in the same spot before, getting drunk. I wanted to avoid them, so we quickly made our way across an open stretch and into the densest part of trail, a little bit of woods in the otherwise sparse terrain. After we entered, we came to a part where two trails meet, when I saw a man wearing a bandana, like a cubrebocca or mouth mask. This is not uncommon in Mexico still to this day. The people took COVID very seriously, so it didn't alarm me right away. But I had a weird feeling about him. I said,
Buenos tardes. No mueren.
They don't bite. The bigger dogs had run off ahead, but something told me not to turn my back to him as I continued up the trail. I put out my palm to him and said,
Que tengas un buen día.
but my body language said, I'm going and you're staying here. That was when he pulled a knife out of his pocket. I said, what the f***, in English. The pleasantries were over at this point, and he starts telling me, in Spanish, to be quiet, and asking me if I have any friends around. I think of the guys in the pickup and see Sasha at his feet. Not knowing what to do, I put up my right palm towards the knife and start walking towards him to grab her. She yelps when I do, and I think it startled him enough to give me a chance to try to run towards the truck. But he's faster and cuts me off. So I turn back towards the trail he came up on, but I'm not close enough to see it, and there are large cactus all around. I stop between two and throw Sasha through them, and I hear him say,
Curicon el cactus.
and the world slows down. I can't explain how I know, but it felt like the dimensions split. I felt my adrenaline burst through, and I knew that the next decision I made would determine if I made it out of the forest or not, and whether this guy became a rapist and a murderer or not. I thought, why is he telling me to be careful of the cactus? He's the threat. I whip around to face him, and I see he's holding the knife funny, so I grab the exposed handle. We start wiggly fighting over the knife, and I notice he's standing with his legs far apart. I'm looking in his eyes, and he's looking in mine, and I can see he doesn't want to hurt me, and I don't want to hurt him, but I have to. So I kick him, and nothing happens. And I look at him like, I'm sorry, I have to do it harder. I kick him harder, and this time he falls back on the ground. I start yelling,
Ayúdame, ayúdame.
but it's coming out as this insane, deep noise, and doesn't sound like I need help. I hear the white truck peel out to leave. as if they couldn't get away from someone in peril fast enough. And I see his eyes change. And now, he's the prey? I don't know how else to explain it. So I guess I became the predator. I switched the knife in my hand, like slasher style. And just then, my big dog Sanji comes running back. The guy gets up and starts running towards me back to the clearing, and Sanji and I chase him out of the woods. I didn't feel safe with him still being there, and this crazy person had come out of me. As I'm chasing him, the me that's still me inside is thinking, it's not safe to run with knives. Sanji is biting his butt in his hand as he tries to cover it. We reach the clearing, and he falls down and starts reaching around the ground for a rock to throw at my legs, and I snap out of it. I call my dogs back, and we start walking, continuing on our path. The feeling was so incredible, it's hard to describe. The thought seriously went through my head. I'm the queen of the woods. Luckily, I realize I'm being ridiculous, and my dogs and I start running, this time off the trail, as fast as we can to get to where I know there are houses. When we get to them, there are kids outside playing and making fun of me, saying, "Are you the man? Are you the man?" And I realize I'm a crazy lady running with a knife in her hand. I quickly switch the grip and hide it along the inside of my arm and run the rest of the way back to my house. The adrenaline reminded me of what warriors must feel in battle, the elation of escaping death, and a weird desire to experience it again. We continued walking the trails for 2 more weeks, but I found myself, quote, preparing for battle each time, and I didn't like the energy it was bringing into what had been such a comforting, safe place to be. Thinking about it later, he must have been pretty messed up, drunk or something, for it to happen the way it did. I wonder if some of me's in other dimensions didn't make it out of there that day. Did we combine into this version of me? I don't know. Somehow, him telling me to be careful with the cactus snapped me into the dimension where I was able to stop and think so clearly and do exactly what I needed to escape. Thank you for all you guys do. This is my favorite podcast for all your original listener stories. I truly appreciate the time and effort you put into every episode.
Interesting.
There's a lot of weird
Strange turns.
thought patterns in my brain after listening to that.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of turns in that I was
It's
like,
not
wait,
where I
what's
thought I was going to
happening?
go when I first was reading the account. Kept changing kind of course as
It
far
really
as...
doesn't seem super paranormal, but
Well, it depends on what you think's going on.
yeah, I mean, I guess it does kind of have that dimensional shift kind of.
Yeah, it sounds like she believes that in that moment of crisis, there was some sort of merging with other possible versions of her. And then she was able to utilize that to get over her fear.
It's an interesting thought, the idea of like extreme heightened human emotion can sort of open gateways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's weird too because at first I thought the cactus was the clue because he said
It's always the cactus.
at first I was like, he's actually more concerned for her about the cactus. And there was that moment where he's like, watch out for the cactus. But it was him saying that triggered what sounds like she thinks, I interpreted as her later saying that they switched places, that he became the prey. His eyes looked scared. And then she was like, I became the predator, took the knife and chased him. Did they swap places in a sense?
Like Freaky Friday kind of stuff.
Yeah, like just enough for her to get out and survive rather than like her combining with other dimensions of herself. Because I think the line is something like, I wondered if other versions of me in other dimensions, if we're running at parallel realities, parallel universes, experiencing the same things, if I didn't make it out in some of those.
Oh, that's not how I interpreted what she said at the end. I took it as there was a version of her that had the courage to respond in that way, become sort of the predator. That's how I took it.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I
mean,
mean,
what do you guys think
out there? Leave a comment.
I still like the idea of, like extreme heightened human emotion, like what that could possibly do to time space. Well, I know it has a direct effect on how you perceive time space.
For sure.
But is it possible that it can open up other dimensional rifts?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to me we've talked about before the idea of people. Remember, like years ago on Coast to Coast AM, there was someone on who was writing a book, claimed to be able to basically quantum leap from reality to reality and invade another version of you. If they had a better life, you could be a jerk and keep that life, that kind of thing. I mean, if you can allegedly,
Quantum leaping.
if you can meditate enough to get to a point where you can make those decisions, then I think spontaneously it makes even more sense that those things would happen in a heightened danger situation. If anything like that could happen.
Unintentionally.
It makes sense to me.
Or orgasmic.
Or orgasmic.
Sorry. I think I've just heard that before, people use like sex magic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As a way to that heightened.
That's tantric energy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could do a show on that. Not that specifically, the last part that I mentioned, but
Sex magic and
yeah, with three brothers talking about sex magic.
We'd have to have a guess. 3 attractive guests.
that was the name of one of our very first episodes.
That's true. Very first episode. You fell off your ball. Well, thank you for sharing that interesting story. Definitely a different kind of story than we've done in Camp Creeply.
Yeah. It wasn't really camping, but
It wasn't camping, but it's just a reminder to be safe in the woods.
the atmosphere of hiking and coming across, individuals
Yeah.
that might be up to no good, and then, swapping places with them like Freaky Friday and chasing them out of there. Here's to you, Queen of the Woods.
Glad you're safe.
To the Queen of the Woods, yes. All hail the Queen of the Woods. Well, we have one more account for you tonight, I believe, on this edition of Camp Creeply. Here's a classic tent camping story, but with very unique twists. This happened to our listener Moth in Gunlock, Utah, somewhere in the summer of 2007 to 2009. And this is called Whispers of Gunlock, the Drumming Shadows.
A friend of mine is a fan of your podcast and said you were running low on creepy camping stories, so urged me to share mine. My memory isn't the best when it comes to timelines, though I remember the event well. I would have been somewhere between the age of 9 and 10, I think. I grew up in poverty. My family was homeless from time to time. My mom's way of dealing with this in the summer, that we'd, quote, go camping. This would usually last the whole summer. Free dispersed camping is allowed throughout BLM, Bureau of Land Management, Utah managed lands, so it was easy to find secluded spots. This summer was the first time we camped in Gunlock, a small, quote, town near the state park. The following years, I would come to hear many stories about the area, the haunted abandoned factory there, UFO sightings, but most prominently, it used to be home to Native American tribes. The first day we set up camp, we spent mostly just exploring the area. We were next to a river, on the other side of which was a rocky mountainside. My older sister was intensely staring at the Rocky Mountain cliff. My mom asked her what she was looking at. She replied that the rock formations looked like faces, particularly Native American faces. A couple nights later, sitting around the fire, we started to hear what sounded like drumming from the woods. The last night we were there was the last straw for my mom. She was the only one to experience it, so this will be a recounting of her words. That night, when we all had gone to bed in the tent, she had stayed up a bit later reading. While sitting in the tent, she had heard raindrops start to hit the tent. Having to pee, she went out wanting to go before the rain got any harder. As soon as she stepped out, though, it stopped. After relieving herself, she came back inside the tent, and the rain started up again. She poked her head out, and nothing. No rain, no noise. She did this a few times. Every time she was in the tent, the noise started up again. The last time she did, she realized it didn't sound like rain, but like fingers tapping the tent, all around, all over. This freaked her out enough that she woke my dad up and they started packing up everything. I remember being woken in the middle of the night and being shuffled into the truck. Hey, time to go. Let's get in the truck. We went to a hotel room that night, some cheap rundown place that would take us in the middle of the night like that. My mom told us what happened the next day, and we found a new camping spot for the rest of the summer. Like I said, we didn't have much money, so for my mom to get us a hotel room over staying the night, she had to be very scared.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So are you not a fan?
That's the real question. It needs to be answered.
What
here.
are you? Are you on the fence with Belief, or do you not care at all?
I hope she's a fan now.
No, I'm just joking. So basically it was like finger tapping.
Yeah, her mom thought it was
ASMR.
raining on her tent. And every time she would leave the tent, there was no weather, no rain,
Oh,
no
that's
rain,
definitely
no
weird.
water in the tent.
That's a very specific sound too.
That'd make you leave.
Combined with the drumming in the woods.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
a very rural place.
could be a fairy. That's a common fairy thing, the drums.
He goes to the Paiute.
But that would be, I mean, I think the indication there that that's really telling is the fact that, well, number one, her dad that doesn't want to ever talk about it? He gets choked up. And the mother, they got a hotel room, like some seedy hotel that night, because they couldn't stay there because they were so terrified. The adults were that terrified.
It must have been a pretty potent fear. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting also that she mentions like all the crazy stuff that has been reported in that area, all the UFOs, the ghostly activity, creature stuff. It sounds like, if true, a very supernaturally charged kind of place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of these sorts of spots that you can feel that sort of thing really getting under your skin.
Yeah. I'd like to camp there.
Oh, is that John?
What happened?
Please be a ghost.
Just comes back in levitating.
That scared me.
Possessed.
What was it? Spider
It was
from the ceiling?
garbage truck. It was like super loud.
I get
bang.
scared by the garbage truck too.
But it was just like, I don't hear, and then you're talking about the spooky stuff, and then
Scaring
it was just like a
ourselves.
loud bang all of a sudden.
3:00 in the afternoon.
And I was like, Alan's not here, and so it startled me.
good.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah.
That sounds spooky.
Kind of sounded like someone was like banging on the door or something.
Ooh,
I thought I
yeah.
heard that too a minute ago, but I think someone was just driving down the. Now this episode's really affecting us. Hopefully, you guys are also getting a little freaked out.
Right at the climax.
Yeah,
What was the story we just did? Or what
yeah.
story we just hear?
that reminds me of that. Are you talking about the tapping on the tent,
There's a tent story where I remember like the whole.
like pushing in?
The many hands.
Yeah, that was a
Right.
great Camp Creeply submission.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I thought that was related to like a Bigfoot though.
No, I think that was also spirits.
Yeah, it was the many hands while
The
camping.
trickster spirits.
Yeah, there had been a lot of deaths in that area. There was a whole town, I think, where there was a tragedy. They thought it was the hands of children.
Kind of like
I
Jerome.
really don't like the idea of hearing finger tapping on the tent.
I
like
know.
a whole bunch. That is
There's something about delicate touching,
that was just,
Delicate
that's
touches.
just like playing with someone.
It's very
Yeah.
very
It's
deliberate.
like, hey, I'm out here.
I'm in here. Hi.
You're in there. I'm out here.
Come on outside.
Yeah.
That would be really, really scary.
So I hope your mom's doing okay.
You have like nightmares about that the rest of your life.
Such a weird concept when you get in a tent, you're supposed to feel safe.
Yeah.
I'm inside now. But in reality, it's just like a thin layer of nylon.
I don't really feel like anyone
I
thinks
never
that.
feel safe in a tent. I feel way more exposed in a tent.
Yeah, I think
Well, it's because you can't see.
exactly.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
no real safety in there.
No.
Right.
Someone could step on my head. Like the very minimum, could just come over and stomp my head.
Another death by head stepping.
Tents are pretty scary places.
Yeah.
Ooh, 10 episode.
We get real nichey here with the Camp Creeply.
Tales from the tent.
There we go.
If we just want to do scary stories, there's plenty of like, it doesn't have to be paranormal if we want to cover
Yeah. Oh,
creepy trail encounters with, this happened to me while I was solo camping.
Yeah.
Some dude came up and
Has to be in a tent.
you cannot leave the tent till the story ends.
It starts in the tent. It can end anywhere.
Starts in the tent, stays in the tent.
It happened in a tent.
That's the episode title.
He pitched a tent.
All right. I know where we're going.
Trouser tent.
Okay.
Anyway, well, we had a whole slew of strange weirdness in this one. A lot of new stuff. I like the Queen of the Woods encounter. Definitely
Yeah.
interesting, unique experience. And of course, always good to have the summer camp stories. We love those. There's our summer camp. I don't know if you noticed that. Little paraphernalia.
Oh yeah. You know, a little
I did see that.
knapsack bag back there. Camp Luther.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Ann and Audrey gave that to us.
Conjure some old memories.
But yeah, send them in, guys. You got any more creepy stories?
Crampy stories.
Krampus.
Krampus.
Creepy camping stories.
10 stories with cramps.
Camping with Krampus.
Okay. We're going all over the place now. You can tell we're nearing the end. The plane is landing. It's a rough landing on the Belief Hole runway. But yeah, send them in, guys. You got your own stories. We would love to hear them.
Yeah.
Especially if it's summer camp related. Those are my favorite. They're very rare. But only true stories. This is number one. We will find you.
Yeah. Or we will discuss how it might be creepypasta.
Yeah. And don't use ChatGPT. We can see right through that. Yeah, I already had to exclude some this episode.
We have gotten a couple.
Don't do that. Don't be that guy.
Don't be a slime.
Don't try to ruin everyone's reality.
Don't mesh it. Don't mesh it.
That's a double-edged sword too, because there are people who I'm sure would write a story and be like, "Oh, I'm not the best writer. I'll have ChatGPT clean it up."
Yeah.
But then there are the clues that are like that you think it's all ChatGPT because they just use these kinds of like cliche phrases,
certain
and
grammar things. Yeah.
Yeah. So we will know. So just be yourself.
Yeah, just be yourself. It's definitely more authentic and more interesting.
Or have a friend or your mom or your dog look at it if they want to tweak it.
We want to hear it in your tone and your voice.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you. Send them in. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the show notes.
And reminder for people that are on YouTube, if you see those shorts come up, don't be afraid to hit the like button because we really are trying to get our numbers to grow again.
Don't be afraid to
like
us.
And we really appreciate you for sticking around this long. So
yeah,
that's right. 100%.
And hit the like now.
Do it.
Do it.
I dare you. Don't be scared.
Don't fail the hole. Don't fail it.
All right, guys. We love you.
We love you.
We'll see you next time.
On
Belief
Hole. All right. This is called Red Eyes on the Water. Bigfoot in the Wood.
You're supposed to sing that.
Like Red Eyes on the Water?
Bigfoot's in the wood.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Red eyes on the water.
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot's in the wood.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this takes place in Mexico. And this is a bizarre, unique account. John, you'll relate. It's about dog walking and what can go down on the trail. This is called I Am the Queen of the Woods.
I am the queen of the woods.
And Chris, let me upload it because I have a faster version.
Okay.
I am the queen of the woods. I am
the queen of the woods.
I am the queen of the woods. I am the queen of the woods. I am the queen of the woods. I am the queen because of the wonderful things I does.
I does Popeye.
Popeye. Okay, it's up there, Chris.